It's a 50 cal round with a quarter bight, just for size comparison. This is the casing to 105 millimeter World War II 105 millimeter howitzer. But this is a very unusual critter here. Very rare round. Probably will never see another one. This is a round for the M1 Stratosphere gun. Now, what was the M1 Stratosphere gun? It was a radar controlled, highest shooting anti-aircraft gun of World War II. It was centered around a computer that had 160 tubes that ran 4 guns. So each little computer was dropped off with this and a little radar shack sometimes. But as we know, with Rattlesnake Mountain, it had a great big one located at the top. Anyways, this is one of the shells that my dad got from an auction back in the day, a local one. And you know, for years we never knew what it was. We always thought it was like a 5-inch artillery shell. It's about that size. It's 120 millimeter, but the 5-inch was just a little bigger. And on the side of the casing on this one, it says 4.7 inch, which is just a very odd size, we thought, for what it was. And anyways, it took me decades of research. I contacted all sorts of ordnance groups and nobody knew what the heck I had. As you can tell, it's got a very big high pressure banding on it. Very different than other shells you'll see of its size. And they're put in the most top secret areas like Hanford. And that's the reason this shell is around. This is probably one of the only shells and the only surviving thing of the Stratosphere guns. I've talked to a lot of ordnance crews, and they said basically this is a tool for the Stratosphere gun. And that's why it survived. Somebody decided to take it home, or was maybe giving it to them off the side, I don't know. But later on, it ended up in an auction. My dad threw $5 at it. Didn't really want it. And we got it, because my dad liked interesting, weird things. But for $5, he was like, heck, he'll throw $5 at it. Nobody wanted it. So it came home. And for decades, we never knew what it was for. Until I just couldn't stop about it, of course. So I researched and researched and researched, online, offline, through the 90s. There was nothing about it. Nowadays, you can find a whole wiki page about the gun. Not much videos about it, or anybody even talking about it. You won't find nothing on the History Channel about this gun, which is sad. I mean, you might find something about the Nike base that was out at Rattlesnake Mountain. Basically, all these were converted into Nikes, and that's why it was so viable to turn that whole setup out there into Nikes. So basically, that's what they did in the 50s. Converted them over to the Nike missile system, and used that till that deterrent was no longer any viable. Now, many will say the Nike missiles were removed because that somebody thought that Russia found a way to block them. Absolutely not true. These were radar-controlled missiles, and if they'd have to block the radar like Blackbird style, basically, maybe they could. But that wasn't the reason they were taken out. The reason they were taken out because in the late 50s, the ICBMs come into play, and Nikes or nothing could defend you against an ICBM. So it basically became worthless. Why spend money maintaining a missile base that can't protect anything? Now, my grandpa worked out there back in the day, and he told me he made the most money that he ever made back then. He pushed a broom around the Rattlesnake Mountain tunnels for like $5 an hour. And he used to tell me those tunnels in there went down in the ground and went all over. Now, years later, I used to be told all the time, oh no, that's not true. No, there's just a Nike base up there, that's it. No real bunker. Actually, there was bunkers, and there was a bunker for high-level people from Hanford, and a tunnel running all the way to Hanford, all the way out to Rattlesnake Mountain. There was just as many tunnels as my grandpa described, which was pretty neat. So I got a little inside information from my grandpa just when I was a kid. He used to tell me every time we passed the place, oh yeah, I got $5 an hour for pushing a broom out there. Just a neat little story. As you can see, it says empty there. Hopefully you can see that. That was to tell the gun crews, and they popped holes in it all over to make sure that to tell the crews there was no possible danger. And it says dummy. It says timed mechanical fuse, and it's all X'd out. They said that Xing out, good indication that this was actually a tool for the gun, M79. You can see along the banding, it's been rolled in and out of a gun quite a few times. That's not damage from being rolled around for years. That's damage from being inside the breech and rolled in and out and thrown out of the way. Marine ordnance guy told me that this was a tool for the gun. They would toss this in and keep the breech clean, and for targeting. So usually all guns like these had one of these shells, a dummy shell, empty shell, that they would take and toss out of the way and then throw in a live round. So they made sure that they weren't having the dummy in there. It was well marked and they knew it. So pretty interesting. I didn't realize that, but yeah, this shell is actually a tool for the M1 gun. Now the Marine Ordnance officer did tell me it's rare they make it out. Usually they are destroyed with the gun. So during dismantling, this one actually made it out. Out of all the guns out there, they probably had quite a few setups of these heavy-duty guns out there. They all were converted over to Nikes and basically forgotten. So, because of owning this shell, thought I'd do a little video on it, talk about the interesting points of this gun. No M1 Stratosphere gun was ever fired in anger, basically. These guns were put in such top-secret locations that they were never discovered. So if you did happen to stumble on Hanford while they were building the B reactor or something, they would have had the most advanced artillery pieces known to defend it with. And that was pretty reassuring, I guess, for the big investment they put in out there. And this shell can shoot 60,000 feet. Pretty impressive. You can tell it's a very interesting design. Very long, big, sleek. Kind of like a battleship round with that big, heavy band. I mean, that's a very big band. You won't see many shells with that big of a high-pressure band on it. It was made to shoot high as possible. And I guess it did that. But the only downsides to this setup was the heavy mounts were all servo controlled and all that kind of stuff, computer controlled, were heavy. And we're talking, sure, they were mobile, but they didn't want to move them after they stuck them in place. They were mobile, but no. I guess they were very heavy and put in, you know, for a reason, in the most top secret place, top secret location. So anyways, this is the M1 Stratosphere round from the guns of Hanford. And anyways, it's my title. Hope you enjoyed. Be more coming.